Just in, Donald Trump is threatening to sue Trevor Noah, not over an investigation, not over a news report, over a joke, a 30-second line at the Grammy Awards about Jeffrey Epstein's island. And this isn't about Trump being offended. It's about something much bigger and far more dangerous. A former president using defamation law as a weapon to scare critics into silence. Because from a legal perspective, this threat doesn't protect Trump, it exposes him. And if this lawsuit ever reaches a courtroom, it could open doors Trump's lawyers would normally do anything to keep closed. Here's what actually happened, step by step, without the noise. Sunday night, February 1st, 2026, the Grammy Awards are live. Trevor Noah is hosting for the fifth and final time. The room is packed with artists, executives, cameras everywhere, millions watching at home. This is not a press conference. This is not journalism. This is a comedy stage. During the show, Billie Eilish wins Song of the Year for Wildflower. As the applause dies down, Noah delivers a quick line. He jokes that the Grammy is the one island every artist wants almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, adding that Epstein's island is gone and Trump needs a new place to hang out with Bill Clinton. The audience laughs. Noah immediately follows with a self-aware line, "I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it?" The joke lasts seconds. The show moves on. No clarification, no debate, no fact-checking, because everyone in the room understands what this is. A satirical comment, a layered political joke delivered in a room full of people who clearly took it as humor. Less than 12 hours later, the tone changes. By 10:01 a.m. the next morning, Donald Trump posts a lengthy message on Truth Social. Not a quick denial, not a casual dismissal. A multi-paragraph statement that reads like the opening shot of a legal battle. Trump claims the joke falsely suggested he spent time on Epstein's island. He insists he has never been there, never anywhere close, and says he has never been accused of that by the media. Then the message escalates. Trump calls Noah a loser, says he better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. And then comes the threat. Trump says he will be sending his lawyers to sue Noah for plenty. This is the key moment, not the joke, the response. Trump frames the situation as defamation, as if a comedian hosting an awards show made a factual allegation that damaged his reputation. He references previous legal wins and settlements, signaling confidence and power. The message is not subtle. It's meant to be read not just by Noah, but by everyone else watching. The implication is clear. If you say something I don't like, even as a joke, I will drag you into court. And this is where the story stops being about comedy and starts being about strategy. Because Trump didn't just respond emotionally, he responded deliberately, publicly, and with legal language, which raises an obvious question. Why escalate a joke into a lawsuit threat at all? To understand why this lawsuit threat is so risky, you have to understand how defamation law actually works, not how Trump talks about it online. Defamation is not about hurt feelings. It's not about being angry. It's a very specific legal standard, and it gets even stricter when the person claiming harm is a public figure. Trump isn't a private citizen. He's a former president. That single fact changes everything. To win a defamation case, Trump would need to prove four things: that a false statement was made, that it was about him, that it was published to others, and that it caused real damage to his reputation. But that's only the beginning, because under Supreme Court precedent, public figures must also prove something called actual malice. That means showing the speaker knew the statement was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. And this is where Trump's threat immediately starts to fall apart. Trevor Noah did not deliver a news report. He did not present documents. He did not claim insider knowledge. He made a joke at an awards show on a comedy stage in front of an audience that laughed because they clearly understood it as satire. Courts have been crystal clear on this point for decades. Satire and parody about public figures receive the strongest possible First Amendment protection. The key legal test is simple. Would a reasonable person believe the statement was asserting an actual fact? If the answer is no, it cannot be defamation. That's not a gray area. That's settled law. Trump's team knows this, which is why this threat isn't really about winning a trial. It's about something else entirely. Look at Trump's recent behavior. He has been openly celebrating settlements from major media companies. ABC paid $15 million, CBS paid $16 million. Trump talks about these cases as victories, proof that threatening litigation works. But those cases involved news organizations, factual statements, and years of expensive legal risk. Settlements were business decisions, not courtroom wins. Now Trump is trying to apply that same playbook to a comedian. But comedians are different. Noah didn't publish a report that could be parsed line by line for technical inaccuracies. He didn't claim Trump visited Epstein's island. In fact, the joke doesn't even say that. It plays on layered references, public associations, and political symbolism. That matters legally. There's another problem Trump may be underestimating. Actual malice cannot exist when the statement is obviously humorous. You cannot prove someone knowingly lied about a fact when no reasonable viewer believed they were stating a fact in the first place. And that's before you even consider damages. Trump would need to show that this joke caused measurable harm to his reputation, not general criticism, not embarrassment, real, demonstrable harm. That's an extremely high bar, especially for someone whose public image has been litigated, debated, and scrutinized for decades. From a prosecutor's perspective, this threat doesn't look strong. It looks impulsive. And more importantly, it looks dangerous, because once you step into court, you don't control the narrative anymore. Which brings us to the part Trump's threat completely ignores: what happens if this lawsuit actually gets filed. If Trump actually files this lawsuit, the most dangerous phase doesn't come at trial. It comes long before that. It's called discovery. Discovery is the part of a case where both sides are legally forced to open their files, documents, emails, phone records, depositions under oath. It's the moment when control shifts away from press releases and social media posts and into a courtroom governed by rules Trump doesn't set. If Trump sues Trevor Noah over a joke tied to Jeffrey Epstein, Noah's lawyers don't have to prove the joke was kind or fair. They only need to defend it. And the strongest defense to defamation is truth and context. That opens the door to questions Trump would normally fight aggressively to avoid. Every communication Trump ever had with Epstein becomes relevant. Every meeting, every shared event, every flight record, every photograph, every witness who saw them together. Noah's legal team could subpoena documents released by the Justice Department just days before the Grammys. They could depose Trump under oath and ask him to explain, line by line, what those records show and what they don't. And timing matters here. Just 3 days before the Grammys, the Department of Justice released millions of pages of Epstein-related files under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The administration claimed full compliance. Lawmakers immediately pushed back, saying millions more pages were still being withheld. Questions about Trump's relationship with Epstein were already back in the public conversation before Noah ever stepped on stage. Then the joke lands, and instead of letting it pass, Trump amplifies it. That's the paradox. Threatening a lawsuit doesn't erase attention. It multiplies it. It invites scrutiny. It encourages reporters, lawyers, and the public to dig deeper, not move on. There's another problem Trump's strategy runs into. Noah didn't accuse Trump of a crime. He didn't say Trump committed wrongdoing. He made a satirical comparison based on widely known public associations. Trump's Truth Social post reframes the joke as a factual claim that was never actually made. That misreading would matter in court. And unlike ABC or CBS, Noah has nothing to settle. He's not defending a news brand. He's not protecting advertisers. He's a comedian whose entire role is to comment on power. Satire is not a side note in First Amendment law. It's at the core of it. That's why this threat may backfire harder than Trump expects. If Trump files, he risks discovery. If he doesn't file, the threat still stands as evidence of an attempt to intimidate speech. Either way, the spotlight stays exactly where he doesn't want it: on Epstein, on transparency, on what remains unreleased, on what the files already show. This is the pattern that keeps repeating. Legal threats meant to silence critics end up broadcasting the underlying issue to a far larger audience. The response becomes bigger than the original comment. The attempt to control the narrative creates a new one. Trump's message was meant to warn others, but it also sends another signal that jokes still work, that satire still matters, and that trying to bully it through the courts can expose far more than staying silent ever would. That's why this isn't just about Trevor Noah. It's about whether powerful figures can turn the legal system into a tool of fear, and whether the law still draws a line between criticism and censorship. Because once that line disappears, the damage doesn't stop with comedians. It reaches journalists, whistleblowers, and anyone willing to speak.